Welcome back to the VHS Vault. I am VHS Jason. Next to me, of course, is the man with his name all over the YouTube channel,
Yeah.
Jason Roy Gaston.
Hello. 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 Hello.
Well, I'm delighted about tonight because there's two things about tonight that I'm delighted is A, we get to talk about this movie, and B, we're starting a whole new journey.
Yes, and it's going to be a long journey. And I'm
It is.
excited. I'm excited. It's right up there with Freddie and Jason. And I don't know, in some ways, probably held to a higher regard.
Yeah, there may be a dip in the mid
Sometimes.
2000s,
Sometimes, yes.
but when we come back, yes, we're talking about 1979. Ridley Scott directed, and if you can't guess by that little moment, Alien, the first ever Alien, Jason. And let's get back into our memories, our first impressions, well, any core memories you have of seeing this film.
Oh, goodness. My core memory with Alien is tied to my core memories with the Amityville Horror. Because back in the day, before we had these fancy streaming services and VCRs, we would have to watch movies of the week that appeared on network TV. And this is even before HBO and Showtime, at least before they were available in my house. And one movie that they would show every year, well, two movies actually, that they would show every year just to kind of be scary would be the Amityville Horror and Alien. And I remember, because my parents were super, super, super irresponsible, I would watch Alien and the Amityville Horror with them, and both movies scared the ever-loving hell out of me. I just watching this movie again just took me back to the early 80s, you know, little 6-year-old me hiding in my dad's arm, just not wanting to see it, but I just have to see that thing burst out of Kane's chest, and I don't want to see it, but I have to see that acid squirt out and hit the ground. It's just, this is like a warm blanket made out of the worst thing possible, but it feels so good.
That's great. That's great. You know what my memory is? My memory is, this is a very rare thing where I was actually gifted by my two elder brothers at the time. So I'm just like you, I'm 6 years old. This is 1979. And it's one of the biggest films of the year, Alien, of that time. So for Christmas that year, my brothers decided to buy me the Alien action figure, like a model of it, about this big, which they had to paint. And it had the little thing with the second mouth coming out. You could push it back then. And I remember being horrified at this Christmas present. You know, I've got Star Wars figures here and there and all that kind of thing and other bits and pieces. But my brothers present me with it, which at that time I was terrified of horror films. So I'm like, I never actually saw Alien about, I reckon it was 6 months before Aliens. It wasn't until the mid-80s until I saw it. It struck me then very viscerally. It struck me then. That's not even a word. I'm going to try again. And it still holds on. I mean, it's very affecting film back then. And I remember being a kid more leaning towards the Aliens movie. But once I got to about 18, 19, that shifted back. Because once you start learning about what Ridley Scott does in this film, you know, it's stellar. So that were my memories from it. But wow, I just watched it 3 days ago again, Jason. I don't know when you just watched it again.
Just yesterday, as a matter of fact. And my goodness, just what a well put together movie. Just, there's so much quiet in this movie. Just so many scenes with no music, and it's haunting. It is absolutely haunting and off-putting, and I don't know. It's like the silence
Starts
is
with
worse
that.
than the silence is worse than the screaming, in my opinion. In space, no one can hear you scream. Nobody can hear you do a lot of things out in space.
Look, I think tonally this film is perfection. It
is.
captures a tone. It captures a feeling. It makes you feel uncomfortable from the get-go, and it never lets go of that all the way. Excuse me, even in moments of quiet, and we get introduced pretty quickly to the mundane life of these space truckers,
Space truckers.
Yeah.
Space truckers.
And which is just matter of fact, getting up, stretching, starting. They're coming out of stasis, so they're actually at this point, Jason. They're expecting to be almost home at this point, I believe.
They were. I could only imagine waking up and realizing, oh, hey, we still have several months to go. Why are we awake? What's going on?
Yeah, yeah.
And the fact that they don't know that for a while, that they are just assuming that they're almost home, almost makes the rest of this movie tragic,
It
because
does.
this is the last moment of normality for these people.
Oh
After
yes,
this, it's gone.
it's gone. And look, we probably need to talk about some of this cast. Let's just go through Tom Skerritt.
Yes,
Absolutely
Tom
wonderful. And
Skerritt.
this is one of my favorite roles of his. Of course, the star of the show in her first starring role,
Yes.
Sigourney Weaver.
Mm-hmm.
So, who is oh my, I mean, like what a breakout role. You can tell why she's had such a long career. But for not Veronica Cartwright, do you remember her at all? Seen her in
Uh,
several films?
yes, I'd seen her in. Oh my gosh, what was it? Now I've gone blank. Wasn't she in Close Encounters, or am I just like?
Do believe so. Close Encounters. I think
Okay.
you are right. That's my memory of it anyway. Unless we're both wrong. Harry, the great Harry Dean Stanton, John
Mm-hmm.
Hurt, Bilbo Baggins himself, Ian Holm, and of one of my favorite actors, Yaphet Kotto,
Yaphet Kotto. I, I
who's a
I
legend.
I was really sad whenever I was watching this movie because I realized that Sigourney and Tom are the only ones left. All the rest of them
Yeah,
have
have
passed
gone.
beyond the veil. But yes,
Yeah.
we have a doctor and we have a hobbit,
Yes.
and yeah,
And a lot has to be said about the casting of this film and the wife because it's a mix of English and American. They keep it very like it isn't just an American astronauts and or space truckers in space. This is an international crew, and there's something about when you do horror and you have English people in it. They add their voice adds an extra layer of I don't know how to explain it, like almost creepy. It's
calmness.
yeah, it's kind of like why all the Empire is British, right?
I just assumed because they were just trying to get more stuff for the museum. Anyway, now I've said it before that whenever someone comes up to you and says, "Oh my God, we gotta run," you're just like, "Why? Why should we run?" But whenever somebody comes up to you very, very formally and says, "I do believe we should run," I'm running. It's something about that calm. It's something about that British stoicism that just
Mm.
panics me in a high stress situation. You know, my dear boy, we should get out of here. Oh, lead the way.
And the fact that they've also taken a like because this is post Star Wars and this is Fox, getting back into that science fiction realm because at this point after Star Wars, we have 3 or 4 years of just rip-offs, left, right, center coming through down the chain. And
Battle
I'm
Beyond the
sure
Stars.
Fox at the time, yes. And I'm sure Fox at the time thought that this was maybe, but they were wrong because what they created here was one of the, in my opinion, seminal horror classics. And I could also say that about science fiction at the same time. So it's a twofer for me, Jason. It's top tier horror and it's top tier science fiction.
It is. And I think that one of the people that we can thank, aside from, of course, the director, is H.R. Geiger, the designer of the alien and all of the alien things that we see in this movie, the eggs and everything. I don't know if you're aware of this, but H.R. Geiger designed everything to trying to think of a very G way of putting this.
Yes.
Everything to look like mommy and daddy parts.
It's very sexualized content.
It is, but
Very
the genius of it is that it is not in your face. It's nothing that you recognize right away, but rather it's something that subconsciously plants itself in your brain, and you realize that this is basically a movie about I think we're far enough into the video I can say the word. It's a movie about rape.
yeah. It
Because
really is.
that is what happens. It is
Yeah.
something is forced into someone else
Yeah.
and bad things happen. This is not just me fanboy theorizing either. This is coming from the director, the screenwriter, and the designer saying, "Yep, it's about rape."
Yeah, yeah. And there are little moments too, tiny little moments that support that as well. There's a moment with Veronica Cartwright's character where
Yes.
they do a shot of her legs and you see the tail starting to wrap around and go upwards, which is also inferring this very violating type of alien, which it is, because it's all about violation, you know.
It is, yes.
And yeah, going back to the mundane situation that they're in, so adds to this movie because, you know, in a lot of horror films that we witness, it's a heightened reality where heightened horrible things happen. But here, even though it's set in a year, I didn't even know what the year is. They do say it in Aliens, don't they? I think you can do the math on it, but I don't know what the year is here. But either way, it doesn't feel like it's a unbelievable, shiny, glossy science fiction world. It's a very lived-in environment. This is their home, and they're invaded, basically.
Yes.
But
okay, 2122 is the year this movie takes place in.
Oh, so it's 98 years away.
Yes, right? We're getting there. We're getting there.
We're getting there. One of the big things I think works so well is, like I said, talked about the lived in feel, but the model work in this is excellent, Jason. Let's have a look at. I mean, that's when you see that shot, it's beautifully done.
It is, and this is one of the few times that we have a score in the background, kind of accentuating everything, and it's beautiful. And if I may be so bold, I need to bring up this other.
Yeah,
well, never mind. I don't see it. I thought that there was a picture of the planet with the ship going towards it, but I guess there is not.
I thought I had that as well.
I could have sworn I saw that. What's going on? Oh, well, anyway, there's a shot of the Nostromo approaching this gigantic ringed world, and there's the other worlds next to it. And it's foreboding, but at the same time, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I think that is something about this movie that also puts me on guard, is that this movie is equal parts foreboding and beautiful. If you were to ask me, would I want to live in this future if I didn't have to mess with aliens? My answer would be, yeah. This does not look like a bad future. This looks like a future worth saving.
Yeah. When you're talking about beauty, it's right behind you, mate. That shot right there that you've got right behind you.
Oh, yes.
It's gorgeous. Absolutely phenomenally gorgeous.
It is.
And the model work never looks like model work to me. It never looks like it. It's just so well done. And there's a couple of really great things they've done here. They land on the planet at night. All right, so straight away, we've got a moon in the background, like a full moon, almost threatening you. Yeah, there's weird things going on. And what also I think makes me the most nervous about that whole planet sequence is we know John Hurt. Don't go where you're going, buddy. You know, I think even the first time I saw it, I went, dude, like, maybe just wait for somebody. But John Hurt's boldness in this, and the fact that he's trying to, see what's kind of going on with that ship. Wow.
Well, in the War Doctor's defense, I see this guy, I think the War Doctor, I can't help it. In his defense, this is the first encounter that humanity has had with life outside of our own solar system. So as someone, he is excited, he is curious.
True.
I don't know. I probably would have made the same decision. I would be sticking my head down there going, what is this?
Really? After even
trying to hug me.
You see that first. So you know there's an alien in that thing with something coming out of its chest, and you'd still go to. I'm going anywhere with you, buddy.
I would. Hold up. Bring
check that out, Jason.
Bring up that picture. Oh, never mind. I see it. I'll get. One of my favorite fun facts about this movie is that in every shot that you see the space jockey, and you see the people in the spacesuits around it,
I know.
Those are children. They put children in spacesuits and had them walk around just to make the thing look bigger.
Yeah, and that was the cruise kids.
It's funny because if you know that and you watch how they're walking around, now you're just thinking, those are children. Those are like 8-year-old children. Just the way they're walking, just like skip, 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 skip. They're kind of doing that. They're kind of doing that thing where they're doing this. They're swinging their hose. They're swinging their hoses around.
But I never knew that until recently. I didn't know that, so it never occurred to me that they were children.
Do you know how they made the alien look slimy?
Oh, I've heard this before, but please go ahead.
Lube.
That's right. It was
lube. Yes, the adults know what kind of lube I'm talking about. But yeah, they just lubed it up. Perfect. See, I told you this was a sexual movie.
It is a very sexual movie.
They also had parts of the alien's jaws were made out of condoms.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a skull that you never see. Yeah, it was a skull and you can never see the skull. Yeah. I think that's so funny.
If I really want to get gross, they did talk about too when the design of the face hugger is upside down and they do an autopsy. Yep. Things are designed in certain ways that.
Oh yeah, and it's made out of.
I want you to get your biology book out.
Yeah, it's and they made it out of oysters and other meats as well. But yes, so, it's supposed to resemble a certain thing. Yes.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So you're still with him. The thing opens up and you see the membrane, and you see this thing there. Don't you bail? You bail, right? You're going, that is an alien, it's opening up and it looks like a spider. I'm out.
And the liquid is dripping up.
Yeah.
that is what freaks me out the most is the liquid drips up and no one ever says anything about it.
Yeah. It's such a great shot though, because he goes up and he burns his way through which means he spits blood at that point to City go through it so he can attach himself.
That was one of the sequences that I was always hiding, but I wanted to see it, but I was hiding. And whenever it jumps out and goes, I was like, ah!
So it's already, you're scared. I mean, at this point, I'm scared to bits anyway when I first saw this. I'm like, whoa, what is going on? But instead of giving you a break, this film, no, we get straight into one of my favorite moments. Because you know what I love about this? It looks amazing. The fact that he's just drenched in sweat. Every time they go around near it, you can see the cord tightening, or the tail tightening around his neck.
Yes. It does not look pleasant. It does not look pleasant at all. It does not look fun. Yeah. And I bet when you wake up after that, you just have this weird taste in your mouth, like old molasses or something, or like mayonnaise. I don't know what it would taste like, but I'm sure it would not be pleasant. You wouldn't wake up going, strawberry ice cream. No. It'd be something like, ooh, bile and snot.
You know what I also love about that scene? It takes a detour, because the scene is good enough as it is, right? What is that thing face hugging him? It's going to kill him. And then they nick it.
Yeah.
And then we go this little couple of minute side story where we're following the acid blood with the threat of it going through the hole and killing them. Just a drop of blood almost could kill them.
I don't know why, but that scene also scared the hell out of me as a kid. Just the stuff bursting out of that knuckle and going on the floor, it just bothered me. And I don't know why, because I watch it now and I'm just like, awesome.
Yeah,
back then I was crying. I can't go to sleep. It's too dark, and the alien face hugger is going to get my face.
But again, look at the choice of color of blood. You know what I mean? To make it look like pus almost.
Yeah, it's gross.
You know? It's gross. It's disgusting. Which is fantastic. And what I think is great about this film, as much as it's supported by all that stuff, the performances in this dude are unbelievable.
There are no weak links. None.
Like, what's scary to you? Sometimes I watch the film and I went, I don't know who's scarier, Ian Holm or the alien at this point. Because they terrify me both.
I love how informal this crew is. Just Yaphet Kotto and Harry Dean Stanton. They're just Joe Schmoes working down in the bottom of the ship, in the bowels of the ship.
A couple engineers,
they act like it. Yeah, you know, Ripley is really the only professional on board. She's quoting regulations, and she's like, no, we have to do things by the book. Everybody else is just kind of like, no, we're just gonna bring the guy with the huge lobster on his face inside. It's fine. I'm sure it won't come back to haunt us.
Yeah, like if they'd listened to her, they don't have an issue, right?
Yeah, if you just listen to Sigourney Weaver, everybody would live. It was true in this movie. It was true in Cabin in the Woods. I'm sure it's been true in another movie. Listen to Sigourney Weaver.
Probably in Ghostbusters at some point. No one believed her in the beginning.
That's true. Yeah, if Venkman had just believed her instead of trying to be all like gross and rapey.
Yeah, getting her pants. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, they could have avoided a Marshmallow Man and everybody would have been fine.
No, she's wonderful. She's wonderful in this film.
She is great.
The kind of commonality between them, the fact that they're very comfortable with each other, is also really supported well by the agency. The concept and how we find out about it's the agency, isn't it called the agency? Am I thinking something else? The company, not the agency. But the way the company's laid out to us, you know, you get this feeling of this. You get to understand the world around them, that the world's obviously controlled by corporations.
Yep.
Become a very fascist corporate kind of life that they live. If they don't do this, they don't get money. And I just thought it's very clever to kind of weave that in without us cutting to the bad guys sitting in their corporate office somewhere.
I like the company being faceless. I think that's just great.
It's never named for what it becomes though in this film, don't they? They never call it Wayland, do they?
I don't think they ever call it Wayland Yutani. I didn't really see if there were any logos anywhere.
No,
I
didn't notice that.
I did notice that weird Purina logo on all the doors. Yeah. Because every time I saw that, I was thinking, why is there a dog food label on all the doors? I think it's just coincidence. I don't know.
Coincidence.
Why don't they just feed the alien dog food? Then it won't eat them.
Yeah.
That's how my little brain used to work back then.
But they gave us enough lore, didn't they, to really give this film depth, I thought.
They did.
Because it's a very tight film. I mean, what was the budget for it? $11 million? Probably a lot of that went on special effects.
I imagine.
And the rest of it was probably just filmed in a lot somewhere.
Yep.
Because it's so tightly contained. And they and you know, there's very retrospect, you know, there's something about where they've been able to take all the retro technology and still make it feel appropriate. Like it doesn't age. That's, you know, we said this about Total Recall last show. We talked about how it hasn't really aged, and this film is the same thing. It doesn't really age.
Absolutely. You can't really see any matte lines around these models either. So I don't know if they actually shot them up against a oh gosh, you did it again.
It's the same pick we went for.
I know, but you can't see any matte lines against it. So I don't know if they actually filmed these two models together. Yeah, I honestly don't know, because every single shot is so clean. So I don't know if that is an actual physical model in front of an actual physical matte painting. I don't know how they did this, but these effects have not aged.
No.
They are still beautiful. They are still great. If they were in a movie today, I would think, wow, that's a great special effect.
You know who would have been pretty happy with the special effects? Dan O'Bannon and Ronald Shusett, who are responsible for the screenplay and story, whose last science fiction film was a student film by John Carpenter, which became a full film, which was called Dark Star. Have you ever seen that? The big alien of that is a beach ball.
Yes, I remember Dark Star. They've kind of taken a step up with this one. Was that a little bit? Was Dark Star, was that Roger Corman?
Yes, that was a Roger Corman production. That's how it was his student thesis, apparently, originally. That's what he was doing for his thesis. And then Corman's come along and going, we can make money out of this kid. And Dan O'Bannon and Ronald Shustert's like, yep, all right, let's expand upon it. But yeah, they've done something.
That's amazing.
Excellent. Does this film, without Geiger's design, does this film end up becoming a B-grade schlock?
Yes.
It does, yes, right?
Does. It does. I think it would be high-end B-grade schlock, but it would be schlock. I think that Geiger's design and the look of the alien itself are just what sells it and what has made it so timeless and so iconic. The alien, by
Yeah.
the way, played by a young man named Bolaji Badejo, and
Yes.
he was a very tall. He was 6 feet 10 inches and extremely thin. So he was able to get into this unnatural looking suit and become this alien. And
Wow.
again, it looks absolutely amazing.
It does. And all the pictures I got, I can't believe I didn't get one of the actual clear shot of the xenomorph. But here's one here. Can actually see this is from the 1979 version of it. And because of that solid design, honestly, like it's because of the artistry behind it, it is timeless. It will never age. We will see that design in 100 years, Jason, and go, that looks like that's been designed today.
Well, that and it looks alien. It looks
Yeah.
like nothing before, and well, I don't want to say since because there have been ripoffs since. But yeah, it's a fantastic design. You can actually see the human skull in that shot. Look at that.
Yeah.
It's right there. Huh.
Yeah.
I'll be darned.
But the fact that he has no eyes, that the
Mhm.
teeth are kind of like a clear chrome look to it. The fact that it has, who came up with the secondary mouth?
Oh, I know this one.
Okay,
Do you know
please
where they
keep
got the idea for the secondary mouth? The moray eel. Because the moray eel has an inner set of jaws that will come out and grab something and pull it in.
Well, this seems to come out and penetrate its victim.
There's a video of somebody who fed a moray eel every day on the beach, and one day, not the beach, inside a reef, while he was scuba diving. And one day the eel grabbed his hand like this, and the inner jaw came up, grabbed his thumb, and pulled his thumb off. And you can hear the thumb go pop. I mean, whenever it comes off. And so I'm sure Geiger or Dan O'Bannon or Ridley Scott was reading about moray eels and saw that and thought, hey, this is cool. Let's do it.
We're going to do this. When I was also watching it too, Jace, what really kind of struck me is it's kind of like 3 films in one. Because the first third is kind of like almost Star Trekian in its discovery. We
the slice of life.
Yeah, we come across something we investigate. The second part's more about a team working together. It's like a team movie. Like, we're going to get through this. And then it becomes, in the last part, a survival movie where you've got one person against all odds just trying to survive the situation. And I think this is why this thing, which runs at almost 116 minutes, 2 hours, never feels, even though it's slowly paced. This film isn't in a rush to get to scenes. It always feels like it's moving.
Yes.
And that's the genius of Ridley Scott. And the genius of, who do you think did the score of this one, Jason? It's our favorite.
Oh my goodness. I should know. Is it Goldsmith?
Yes, of course it's Goldsmith.
Oh gosh,
Jerry Goldsmith. Yeah. And a lot has to be said about just the very quiet orchestra being used, throughout it. Here we've got a trivia question. What's the name of the cat?
Jonesy.
Now, Jonesy lives for a bit. Jonesy, he actually gets a role, doesn't he, in the sequel? So
he does, yes. The world's oldest cat.
The world's oldest cat. That's it. Which what upsets you most about the third one? I don't care about
Jonesy.
You.
No Jonesy. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't care about
you.
I
want a whole movie about what happened to Jonesy on Earth. I like to think that Jonesy was there whenever a ship crashed and there was an alien on board, but it was like the little bitty one. And I like to think that Jonesy ran into the ship and came out with the thing in his mouth, just like, hey, look what I got. Yeah, that's what I like to think, is that Jonesy saved Earth.
You know what I like to think about? How horrific of violence, but besides the chest-bursting scene, we don't actually get to see a lot of violence. Really.
We really don't.
It's very implied.
I'm going to bring up this shot right here, so don't press anything.
Nope.
The cat.
Oh, JJ.
Yeah, the cat watching the attack, like, good. Spin him around.
Theory.
Drop him. Pick him back up. I think the cat and the alien were working together.
Yeah, they were both telepathic. We don't know that. And so the cat's basically getting the xenomorph to do its bidding. And good on the cat, I say.
Hey, cat,
Uh,
you hate humans. I think they're delicious. We should work together. Okay, penis monster, let's work together.
um, yeah, wow. But yeah, like I said, you don't see a lot of explicit violence. It's just very much we get to see the alien shock and then a close up usually of the victim. I mean, when Tom Skerritt gets it, we don't even see him get it at all. All we see is him turn around and the alien goes boo.
Yeah,
that's it.
6 frames.
And a light
6
goes
frames
off.
of the alien. And
that's it.
My absolute hold on. My absolute favorite thing about this movie is something I only became aware of recently. And that is as the characters are walking through the ship, just walking from one room to another, and the aliens are gonna get them, but they don't know it. If you look really carefully, you can see the alien waiting for them.
Oh, really?
During the scene when Brett walks into the reactor room where all the water is dripping down, if you turn the brightness up on your television,
it's there.
The chains that are hanging down, you can see the alien hanging upside down on one of the chains. The alien is waiting for him.
Oh, wow.
I love that fact. And there's a bit whenever Dallas is in the ducts. At one point, he kind of turns and then he turns that way. As he turns that way, you can see the alien waiting for him.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's just great filmmaking, isn't it? That's just great storytelling. Yeah. And every death in this film is a gut punch.
It is because you love these guys, except for Ash. You love every single one of them, except Ash sucks. Yeah.
Except Ash sucks, which, mind you, talk about a shocking moment because I never knew at the time that he was what he was. So when is it Dallas that grabs the fire hydrant, or was it Yaphet Kodo? And
I think it was Kodo who did it, if I remember right.
Yeah, but do you know the story about this scene? Poor Ian Holm.
It was
one of his things he hates the most is milk. He had to be dripped in milk, and my wife said something really inappropriate about this scene. She goes, "Why is he?" And I went, "Don't even go there.
I don't understand. What do you mean?"
No, I'm not even going there.
I don't get it.
Why is it all white? And I said, because that's the bio liquid that helps the androids. Nothing else. Move along. But don't you love it about those androids in this movie is they look to be a mix of biomechanical androids?
I love it.
Which I've always liked.
Yeah.
I
love it. Yeah. This was another moment that just scarred me as a kid.
Oh, yeah. Talking head.
I don't know. It was just terrifying to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the situation was so alien.
Well, if the audience wasn't told that he was an android, there could be an argument to go, well, he is an alien. Because you go back to that shot, it looks like guts. Like that's in his neck and all that kind of thing. It doesn't say, it's not like Data. You know what I mean?
That we know of, yeah.
Yeah, that we know of. We hope not. Or Data. We hope it's just all positronic blinky bits.
Yeah.
But yeah. And a great twist in the movie, isn't it? To find out that the company, he's been mandated, he's only following orders.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes a great bad guy. He's only following orders. He was mandated, no, you need to capture that species and bring it back at all costs.
Crew expendable.
And I love Sigourney's reaction when she finds that out. Such a raw, honest reaction to have.
Yes.
Yeah. And wow, she signed. And the good thing is killing Tom's, because if you first seen the film, you go, okay, Tom's going to make it, Sigourney's going to make it.
Yep.
And I thought what was so cool, as soon as you kill him off, it's one of those scenarios, well, anyone could die. Anyone can die. No one is safe.
And that's what I love about it. It seems even on repeat viewings whenever I was little, I would always worry that maybe this time Ripley won't make it out. I was a dumb kid. was very dumb.
I think by resurrection, well, doesn't matter. They'll just replace her.
Yeah, she'll come back. She'll come back.
She'll come back. When she escapes in like the ship and she goes, one thing I was going to ask is the alien hurt at that point? Because I get the impression it is, or it's stuck.
So here's the thing. Back then, they did not have the life cycle of the alien nailed down. And so they had it figured that it was like a housefly, that it was born, it grows up really fast, and then it dies. And that's why it's trying so hard to capture people, because it wasn't eating them. In a deleted scene, it was actually making a nest with them, and it was turning them into eggs. Like
right.
Brett, for example, was being transformed into an egg, and Dallas was stuck to the wall, and he was like, "Kill me, kill me."
Yeah.
They deleted that scene, of course, but that's why the alien was moving so slow whenever it was in the shuttle, was because it was at the end of its life. It was dying naturally.
Like that.
Which, if Sigourney had known that, she could have just sat there and just watched it and been like, it doesn't know I'm here. It's dying. I'm watching it die. Die.
Watching it twitch for that first, for the next 10 minutes. Okay, that explains everything, That also explains the only thing, and I suppose it's special effects limited, the way the alien looks when it gets sucked out in the vacuum of space. But, we just don't get to see a lot of it. We don't. I think they didn't have a lot of money left, because if you look at it in the frame, it's in the right-hand corner. It hits the thing and then kind of goes off screen, but at that point you're so bought in. I think you're so relieved at that point that the alien is actually out of the ship. You're not really noticing those things. Not like me.
No,
it doesn't.
I don't think it looks bad at all. I think it looks kind of
all right.
Natural for space, for the vacuum of space.
I suppose it would be, wouldn't it? Yeah. Not Guardians of Galaxy space, where you have 2 minutes before you start to ice over.
Yeah.
And then all you have to do is be brought back in and you're fine.
Yeah.
Or unless you're Leia and you can fly through space.
Yeah.
One day we'll talk about it. Either way, this film is probably, it's perfection. I don't know how you pick it apart. I don't know what kind of issues you would have with it. I can't tell. I think it's the script is tight, the music's amazing, it's directed with perfection, performances are excellent. If you don't like this film, you owe us a long explanation on this video.
You do, really in the comments. The only thing I've really heard people complain about is that Ripley goes back and gets the cat. But honestly, as a cat dad, I get it. I'd
go back and get the cat.
I'd go back and get my cat.
Yeah, absolutely. What did the cat do? Cat did nothing wrong.
Colluded with the alien. Heck, even when Sigourney leaves it behind, the alien walks up to the cage. He's like, "Bro, do you want me to let you out?" "No, it's okay. You go get her. I'll be fine." Meow.
That's actually the real leader of Wayland.
Exactly.
That's it right there. It's not Guy Pearce.
No,
it's not Guy Pearce.
No, we never believed that at all. Meow.
Wow. What an incredible film. It won Academy. You that told me that they weren't even nominated for the special effects award of this.
No, that was for Total Recall.
Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, it was. Sorry, I'm thinking of the wrong. It's all great stuff. Jerry Goldsmith stopped doing great music for all these films, and Dan O'Bannon and Ronald Susher. But it did win the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects. Of course it would. It won 3 Saturn Awards. Best Supporting Actor for Cartwright, because she did a hell of a scream. So
I did not know that. That's cool. Something interesting about Veronica Cartwright's character, as a matter of fact. I can't remember her character's name. I have gone completely blank. Her character is trans. In the sequel, on the bios that are projected behind Ripley, it says that she was born male.
Great.
So it's like, hey, there you go.
Progressive. Without rubbing it, throwing it down your throat to say, hey, look, we're being progressive. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. It's not a big deal. It's just a matter of fact. It's not a big deal. If that's the case, then you've even sold me further on that future, living in that world. So, no. Look, what can you say? This film stands on its own as one of the great films. And I don't think anyone was expecting a sequel to this. And if they thought they were getting a sequel, they probably thought it was just another alien getting to another ship, right?
Yeah.
Took him 7 years, but we got something very different.
One of the greatest sequels ever made.
And we'll be talking about that in a couple of weeks. That'll be our next foray. And if you haven't picked it, guys, we're going through every Aliens film. Then we're going to go for all the Predator films. And then we're going to go back and look at the Aliens and Predator films. So we've got a long way to go. But we don't have anything for next week yet.
And why is that?
Well, because we're not doing a show next week. We're taking a week off because we're going to find us in New York together for the Captain's Quadrant at Trek Long Island. But when we do come back, we need the audience to tell us what we're going to watch next. We need
Wait. Hold on. You mean to tell me you and I are going to be physically in the same place? And if I wanted to, I could just like actually make contact?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I know, because you keep every time I film before we start, it goes, wonder what it feels like to punch you. Yeah. Every time.
I get to live the dream. I get to live
mate, I'm going to wrestle you like a croc on heat, mate. I'm going to tussle you around and maybe not actually. I've thought about that. Maybe not. Anyway,
well, if we do it in Times Square, we can make some good money. You know, people throwing dollar bills into a hat.
True. Yeah. I'm happy for some dollar bills.
I'll put on a crocodile outfit. You put on a Mick Dundee outfit. We'll just rake in the money.
Sounds like a plan. We do want you to recommend, because this is a threat that I'm putting out there to the world, Jason. If we don't get a good recommendation for our next VHS Vault in 2 weeks, I'm forcing Jason here to watch the Roger Corman 1994 The Fantastic Four. So you got a choice, guys. You either suggest a great film or we're watching 1994, The Fantastic Four. It's up to you.
I'm just going to say, even though I'm going to regret this, I think we owe the great Roger Corman. We owe it to him to do a Roger Corman movie. Even if it's not Fantastic Four, we need to do a Roger Corman movie. So
there are so many, hundreds of them.
Yeah. What Roger Corman movie would you like us to do? Let us know.
And if you think about it, guys, some of the great actors of all time have come through the Corman School.
Yes.
You know, some of the great directors, even James Gunn got his start in.
James Cameron started. He did Piranha 2: The Spawning.
He did a couple of weeks of it.
Awful movie.
Hey,
awful.
The great Jack Nicholson came through Roger Corman.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I saw an interview with Jack Nicholson where he was talking about Roger Corman. And at one point he says that he would not have the career he has without Roger Corman. And Jack Nicholson, one of the toughest actors in the world, starts tearing up.
Yeah.
Talking about Roger Corman. So yeah, we got to do Corman. We got to do a Corman movie.
Well, I think even that's how Ron Howard got his first directing gig, was through Corman as well. So
you think Corman called him Opie? Like, hey, Opie, do this movie. My name's Ron Howard. Shut up, Opie.
Just get a monster in a rubber suit in this thing somehow.
Don't call me Opie. Okay, Richie, do this.
No, it's great. We definitely do got to do Corman. But let us know, guys. And we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks back on the VHS Vault.
See you sooner if you come to Trek Long Island. Come and see
that'd be great. June 1st,
Come
June
shake
2nd.
Our hands. Take it all in. Smell the manliness.
I will put on hand sanitizer, though, not because of your germs, most likely because of mine.